Hello and welcome to BikeSocial. I'm Michael Mann and you join me here on the eastern tip of Spain in this beautiful scenery. You can probably see the Pyrenees over my shoulders. Look, the scenery here is spectacular and so are the roads. And it's a great job that Kawasaki have brought us here for the launch of this 2020 Z900. It's available in dealerships probably before Christmas actually, and for the princely sum of £8,899. All right, enough of me waffling on. Let's see how it looks on the road. ...2020 sees the evolution of the Z sort of middleweight series for Kawasaki that dates as far back as the Z750 back in 2004, which became the Z800 in 2013 and finally the Z900 in 2017. So, shall we have a little look around the bike and see what's new and poke around a bit? So Euro 5 friendly engine, that's the key point. It's still a 948cc inline 4, makes 123 brake horsepower at 9,000 RPM. 98.5 Newton meters, which is about 73 foot-pounds of torque at 7,700 RPM. And the price on this model is 8,899. And it's available in dealerships from sort of middle to late December 2019. 300mm twin discs, that sort of pedal weave effect. Nissan calipers, ABS of course, front mudguard that actually just about covers the radiator. What I did notice on this model is there's quite a lot of space down here at the back. So if you look underneath the seat, there's oodles of space in there. It looks like there's something missing, doesn't it? New tyres for this year, still got Dunlops on them, Sport Max Road Sport 2. And in the conditions that we've been riding in, which would be a little bit damp, and these are brand new tyres, but they felt cold and hard for such a long time. It took a long time to heat up, and we didn't really get much in the way of confidence really out of the tyres. The looks aren't to everybody's satisfaction. A lot of people talk about Transformers. I like it. I think it's pretty dynamic. It's unique. It looks pretty mean, and you know, Kawasaki got this styling effect that they call Sugumi, which really kind of means ready for action, kind of crouching tiger, hidden dragon type of stuff. You know, like it's a beast ready to pounce. That's kind of that's what they try and achieve with this style of formatting, particularly on the Z range. 4 colours, 820mm seat height, adjustable. The seating position is pretty good. There's a lot of room on there. You do feel quite pitched forwards. You do kind of, end up in the tank, but the tank is so beautifully carved. Look, your knees right in there, and then this nice little design there. Kawasaki talk about city riders, weekend riders, which covers a lot of bases, of course. 210 kilo curb weight, so that's wet. It's a little bit heavier than some of its rivals. Quite a few rivals in that middleweight naked category. So you've got the likes of the MT-09, which is probably your standout rival. Then you've got the likes of the GSX-S 750 and the GSX-S 1000 from Suzuki. 790 Duke from KTM, and then the new 890 Duke R, because the Z900 kind of sits in between those two bikes in terms of price and power. Well, the new 890 Duke makes about the same power, but it's about 1,500 quid more expensive. 1,300 quid more expensive is the Street Triple. So it's got a lot more electronics on it as well. So you end up you get your money's worth. Triumph made a bit of a mistake by pricing that above £10,000. It's like a psychological barrier. Whereas what Kawasaki did with this is they priced it underneath £9,000, which again I think is a really good marketing ploy. What else is new? Smoother on and off the gas, that's what they tell us. tricky to tell without running it back to back, and there's still a little bit of a jerk on that kind of first 1 degree of throttle twist. So if you imagine you're coaxing along at, I don't know, 50 miles an hour, so your throttle's open there, and just that little bit extra or that little bit off the throttle, it's a tiny, tiny fraction, but you do get a sudden, almost like a bounce, or it's as if someone's just, I don't know, clunked the suspension. All LED lighting. Tell you what is cool. Let me see if I can turn the ignition on and show you. I think just like the old model, actually. There's a Z. While we've got the ignition on, what say we fire her up? So we only touched about up to 6,000 RPM there, whereas the red line, as you see, it's all the way up at 11. And this new TFT display is all new, 10.9 centimeters, they tell me. So it's digital color TFT display. You've got selectable white and black backgrounds, and then it's sort of auto brightness. There's 3 different levels of auto brightness. And then there's an app you can get as well, a Kawasaki sort of smartphone connection app. You can connect your phone to it like a Bluetooth, and you get like email and phone notifications in through the app. You can also get vehicle info, riding log, where you've been, your gearing, your speed, MPG, that's all through the app. So it all hooks in quite nicely. And then you get your rider modes, which are adjustable here on the on this button, on this toggle switch. Just press and hold, and then you'll see sport. And then you've got road, press and hold, rain. The other mode is the rider mode, which allows you to change the settings of the power settings of the engine and also the traction control settings as well. Right, let's go and have a ride.
So join us here in the afternoon session of the press launch here in Spain. We've already boxed off about 120 kilometers in the morning, so it's been upgraded from the outgoing model, and for the princely sum of only £350 more than the 2019 bike. And Kawasaki have given us a fantastic route. We've had plenty of different types of roads to try. So we've been heading up the mountains, second, third gear, lots of switchbacks, constant radius corners get tighter, corners that get tighter as you go around, corners that open up, so it's a real mixed bag. We've had a lot of, it's sort of, well, I guess what we class in the UK as a B roads perhaps. We've had a fair bit of motorway as well, just to check out what the gearing's like, what your kind of touring pace would be, and when riding at speed on the motorway, in terms of, you know, the aerodynamics and the way in which the wind is deflected thanks to this fly screen at the front here. Tell you what though, it was a chilly old start, and the higher we got above sea level, the colder it became and went through the clouds and the fog. And my first question when we got to our first stop was, does the bike come with heated grips as an optional extra, because we know they're not standard? And apparently not, which surprised me. There's no optional quick shifter, which again, surprising on modern day bikes. You know, a lot of bikes these days have come with quick shifters and even auto blippers for the downshift, for clutchless downshifting as standard, and if not then as an option, but Kawasaki don't even offer that. But that said, a lot of the enjoyment of course of motorcycling comes from that mechanical nature, the way in which it makes you feel on a bike, the noise, the operations that we're all, you know, that we're used to. The gearbox is nice and light. You don't need to be too forceful. 4 rider modes on the bike, so you can muck about with the KTRC, which is traction control. There's 3 levels and then an off, and then you've got a power mode, so full or low. Low will give you 55% of full power, Another new part, or a significantly new part about this 2020 model, is the colour TFT display, and for me at 6 foot tall it's just slightly, and I'm wearing an AGV Pista GPE, it's just that the screen is just out of my peripheral vision, so I have to consciously just dip my head very slightly. It's a lovely high revving engine, just like most 4-cylinders. The more revs you give it, the more responsive it becomes, and the more energetic and fun and enjoyable the bike is. It really begs for revs. Equally, there's been some refinement to the throttle settings, so on and off the throttle is theoretically less snatchy than the outgoing model. But that said, you still get a fair old jolt off and on. I'm trying to demonstrate it. Off, and it's quite a significant thud. So whatever work they did there, I think a little more is required. It's a lovely torquey engine, you know. Been rolling around some of these hairpin bends, and you can kind of just leave it, even in like 4th gear. You can just trundle around. There's no joltiness at low speed from even in 4th gear, and then gently climb on the revs and away you go. There's also been some styling changes to the bike too, so the front fairing around the radiator guard as well, and then lights, so every light on there is no LED. Just making a big difference versus the outgoing model. Now for those that have ridden the outgoing model, differences are, so you're losing nothing of the outgoing bike, but you're gaining a little bit more in terms of its styling, in terms of its electronics, especially with that display, that dash, in an extremely popular category, this naked so-called middleweight category. So for a price point that starts with an 8, it's always quite inviting for a brand new bike of this quality, power, great engine, and with its electronic suite, and as vibrant as this engine is, and as light as the steering is, it's a lovely chassis. It's a lot of fun, this bike. Now because I've got mine in the full power mode, the engine braking, so when you come off the throttle, is pretty good. It doesn't scrub off as much speed as others, so you've got to be on the brakes quite often. I'm really enjoying this bike, you know. It's good, it feels good, it feels nice and rewarding, it gives something back, it's, you know, makes you feel a bit involved. But there are so many other motorbikes out there around the same price point. But this Kawasaki is well worth a go, well worth having a look at.
I think the Z900 is a really good movement on from the outgoing model. There's not significant enough updates really to warrant an upgrade from the Z9 to the Z9, if you see what I mean. But if you've got a Z8, or if you're looking to move up, or if you've entering the Z family of Kawasaki, then the Z900 is really good. I think it's really good value for money. The chassis is nice and sturdy and strong. It feels nice in the corners. If only it had better tyres. So the chassis and the suspension, the engine character is fantastic. That's really, really good fun. As with a lot of inline fours, you kind of got to work it, you've got to really rev it, it enjoys that. But there's a lot of torque, there's a lot of power. So you can roll around some of the nice curvy beachside roads here in Spain. You know, you can be in 4th gear and it'll pull away nicely. You can be doing 50 miles an hour in about 3,500 RPM and just pull nicely in 4th or 5th gear. It's got real good character. The upgrade of the TFT display and the ergonomics of the bike, so the look and the feel, the styling, it's sort of what it stands for as a bike, as it's not a plain Jane by any stretch, you know, it's kind of got something about it. And priced, but you know, below £100, below £9,000 is a really, really good thing to do as well. So yeah, I've been happy with the ride. It's been good fun. There's a couple of duff points. The tyres for one, you know, they need to be upgraded. The peg position is quite high, so if you're a tall rider, then you might want to take it for a long enough test ride to make sure that the peg position is not going to affect you too badly. It misses heated grips, even as an option. It's not available as an option. It misses a quick shifter. Again, hasn't got it standard, hasn't got it as an option either. And I think that's what Kawasaki are perhaps missing out on, certainly versus rivals. We've talked a little bit about rivals already, and there's a lot of middleweight naked bikes out there. And they've all got advantages and disadvantages versus their other rivals, whether that's power, whether that's price, whether that's the electronics package, or those little bit extras like a heated grip or a quick shifter, if that's your cup of tea. So yes, there's a lot of bikes out there that are vying for that middleweight naked customer, and it's a strong category. It's not seen any kind of dip or slump in sales over the last few years. If anything, actually, it's increasing. It's probably one of the best performing sectors of the market. And Kawasaki provided a really, really good option there with the Z9. It's really well priced, that great engine, really good feel, and with a bit better tyres, it'll be a great little package. Look, go and have a go on one. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of the Spanish coast now. Cheers. Great, all right, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for joining me. You can read the full review at BikeSocial.co.uk. Right, we've got a sync for sound. See you looking, there it goes, sync.